In today's tutorial, we're looking at 5 ways you can spice up your climbs. And in particular, I want to focus on really reversing this thinking that we need to do our climb and then start our skill or combination. But before we get started spicing up your climbs, let's look at setups. So you can either set up your tail as an L, with the tail trailing away in front of you or out to the side, and this is best for things like Russian, French, or spider climb. Or you can split the tails into curtains and start right underneath your point, and that's best for things like invert climbs, twisty, crochet, or inside-out knee climb. Having good management of your tails means that you're thinking about the first climb off of the floor, which is your first interaction with the apparatus, and it's going to help keep your lift off nice and straight using your squeeze strength, and it's also going to make sure that your leg action is nice and clean. And this comes in really handy when you're trying to control the way that you look in your ascension and starting to think about your ascension as part of a combination, part of a pathway in your routine rather than just a climb. So, number 1 is keeping your arms and your legs in long lines wherever possible. And this is just a great way to animate your pathway and make the shapes that you do choose to rest in or move through a little bit larger. Often a climb has a lot of bent arms and bent legs, and you pretty much start from the floor and then you kind of shimmy your way up to where you want to be to do a particular trick. And as an audience watching that, it can look very predictable and very effortful. One of the ways that you can make this a little easier is by taking your time, which is our number 2. And an easy way to do this is to add in some rest positions along the way. So here I'm doing a susu climb and then standing up with straight legs and adding in a twisty action, and then going over into a hip hinge to create a position of rest before continuing my ascent. Number 3 is to avoid repeat actions. So not every movement or moment needs to be helping you climb. And I think if you're choosing rest moments, then that's serving that purpose. If you're choosing long arms, that's also helping serve that purpose. And by mixing it up, which is our next step, you can avoid this. So number 4 is mix it up. Use a variety of movement types. So a crochet looks very different to a hook, looks very different to a rotation, looks very different to an invert, and you incorporate all of those movements into, say, 3 or 4 different types of climbs, and you have variety, you have a sequence. You no longer have 4 Russian climbs in a row, which just ultimately looks like repetition and looks like you're only doing it to get higher up the silk. And my final recommendation, number 5, is watch your head. Always looking up not only strains your neck, it's visually a little bit boring and it's predictable because if you're looking up, we're watching you look for the silk, watching your own hand placements, and we can see you very much distracted by your own effort and involved and concentrated on ascending. If you look out towards your audience or even think about looking far, look out towards the horizon in different moments, or look at your body or look at the floor, choosing a different point to gaze or adjust your eyes to is going to add a little bit more interest and also help you fill out the movement within your ascension so that your climbs start to feel like vertical combos rather than just getting up higher on the silk.